What is going on, y'all? Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. My name is Chris Hennessy, and this is Ending the Stigma, where I have the most amazing conversations with the most amazing people who have been through hell and back, come out the other side not even smelling like smoke, and have lived to tell the tale. We talk anything justice involved, human trafficking involved, addiction involved, or D, all of the above. My guest tonight was on with us last week. Her name is Sheila Smith. And she told me whenever she reached out to me to be on the podcast, she was like, bro, like I've got a lot to say. And I was like, cool, we'll just schedule you for 2 weeks in a row. It's the first time I've ever been able to do that. So I was super excited to leave her in an apartment in South Memphis where she needed our help. So look, when I was in prison, when we were reading a book, we'd be like, man, I got to go get back to my book. I left so-and-so in a bad way. He needs my help. I got to go finish it. So that's kind of how I felt tonight was, we left Sheila in an apartment in South Memphis and she needs our help. Maybe you have been to prison to understand that. But anyway, if y'all are here, y'all drop a comment and let me know you're here. Otherwise, I don't know that you're here. Drop in, say hi, let us know where you're joining from and all that good stuff. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring out Sheila Smith. Sheila.
Hey, everyone. Hey, Chris. Hey.
Thank so much for
Good to
coming
see
back.
you.
Yeah, I know. Good to see you again. Twice in like
Thank
a
you for
week.
having me.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we left you last week. Like I said, you were just got into some apartments in South Memphis. Give us a very brief recap of what was
Okay.
going on in your life at that time and how you ended up there.
Okay. At that time, I would have been probably about 33. I'm 53 now. Um, and my family and I, my two daughters and my kid's dad, had become homeless. And we had been staying in a garage in Fraser, a detached garage in the summer. Um, the people that were letting us stay there had a family member that had an apartment in South Memphis that she said we could take up the lease on. So we moved into those apartments. But there really wasn't a lease because the apartments they were being shut down. So there were only like maybe 10 apartments in the whole complex that even had anybody living in them. And most of those apartments were dope boys. We were one of the very few families that were still there.
Yeah.
So the drug addiction with my kid's dad and myself just continued to get worse after we moved into these apartments because all around us was dope boys. So I was dancing at a club here in town, and I would go to work, make good money, come home, spend every dime of it, and I'd be begging on crack, and I'd be begging for money from the dope boys to get back to the club the next day to make more money, to just do it again, which is just crazy. This went on for about a year that we lived there. I left him. I grabbed my kids and went and moved back in with my mother, something I did several times when my kids were small. And I was staying at my mother's and still working. At this time, I was working at the Gold Club. I met a guy in there. He was a customer. I started spending time with this guy. He seemed like he was almost the answer to all my prayers. He was married, but we were seeing each other for about 6 months. And I was living in East Memphis and he was living in Bartlett. So he wanted to kind of move me and my kids closer to Bartlett so he wouldn't have as far to go to see me or drop me off from work or whatever. So
let me interrupt you for a minute. I know Bartlett. It's not South Memphis. It's not the hood.
Right. It's
Um,
fairly nice.
so yeah, it's fairly nice. I've got some friends that live out in that area, David and April Abbott. But tell us about East Memphis. I've never been out there. I've only been in South Memphis,
Yeah,
in Midtown. You know, Ben and Jess's at their house on Evergreen
sure.
and all that.
Huh? Okay. I was living at like Cottonwood and Perkins near the
Okay.
old Mall of Memphis, which had the nickname
Okay.
the Mall of Murder. It was
Okay.
really
Okay.
dangerous. Um,
Yeah.
in the hood,
Yeah.
not a good area. I didn't want
Okay.
my kids to be going to school in that area. And this guy just seemed like the answer to all of my prayers. He was going to rent me an apartment in Bartlett, move me and my kids in, and he was going to continue to stay with his wife, and I was going to continue to work at the club and see him when I wanted to, whatever. But the day that he moved us in, me and my two girls, um, he came back later that evening with a truck full of his stuff, telling me that he had just left his wife, told her he didn't love her anymore, all this, and he moved in with us. And that was not supposed to be the deal. But that's
So
how it
he
worked out.
moved. He moved from Bartlett, which is a great area,
He
into
moved
the
in
hood with you.
no, the apartment that he got me was in Bartlett.
Oh, okay. Okay. You were already
Uh-huh.
there. You're already in that
Yep.
apartment. Okay. Okay. I got
Yep.
you. I got you now.
Yep.
Okay.
So um he I was on drugs really bad, and he was and is still a bad alcoholic. So we had a lot of problems shortly after moving into this apartment that began. Um he didn't want me working at the club anymore. That was all I'd ever known. That's how I made my living, to make sure I had my own
Right.
money and take care of
Right.
myself. So he didn't want me working at the club anymore. He didn't really want my kids around. I think he just wanted a whore on the side, you know? And
Yeah.
so, yeah. So we stayed together for a total of about 15 years. And
Wow.
during that time, I lost custody of my oldest daughter, Monica. Um, I can't put that blame on him, really. She was 14 and was doing what 14-year-olds do. And she and I were butting heads. And I put hands on her one night. The cops came and they took her from me, and they took me to jail. So I went to court for about a year trying to get her back. I did everything they asked me to do, all the parenting classes, the drug classes, everything. This went on for about a year back and forth in court. And she was with a foster family in Germantown, nice area.
I was gonna say that's a nice area
Yeah,
too.
very nice area. Yeah. Um, and after going to court for about a year to try to get her back home with me, she didn't want to come back home with me because she didn't want to be around him. And I was still with him.
Yeah.
So Monica aged out of foster care. She stayed with this foster family for 4 years till she was 18. And that was a really tough time for me. Couldn't believe I'd lost my kid, you know.
Right.
And something I failed to mention the other night, something else that God stepped in and helped me survive was before we moved into those apartments in South Memphis, and I don't want to go back too far, but not long before that, I had left the club one night to go get some dope, to go get some heroin. I did that heroin. I was crossing the street right in front of the club that I was working to go back to the club. And as I was crossing the street, I got hit by a truck. And
Wow.
I got hit by a truck. It was two off-duty cops. They had just gotten off work at the precinct down the street. Knocked me about 40 feet. I landed almost, anybody that knows
Mm.
Mount Moriah, I landed almost to the interstate by the time I landed in the middle of the street. So that was something else God brought me through. And, I couldn't understand what is my purpose? Why am I still here? That should have killed me, but it did not.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
survived that as well. I only twisted my ankle, and I tried to find a lawyer to sue, but once they saw the toxicology report, I couldn't get a lawyer to take my case. So
Yeah.
just something else that God helped me to survive.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. I still can't believe it to this day. That
I
should have killed
bet.
me. I mean, it knocked
Yeah.
my shoes off my feet. I mean, it should have killed
Yeah.
me. It really
Yeah.
should have. I was out of work like 6 weeks because I was on crutches. So I just would make a sign and fly the cardboard at the gas station by my house every morning until I had enough money to get well. I did. So now I've met this other guy at the club. We're staying together. I've lost my daughter. He and I are still together. The abuse began pretty soon after we moved into that apartment together. He was very emotionally, verbally, and at times physically abusive. We had several fights. I would end up going to jail. He would not. He would talk his way out of it. He would never go to jail. Even though I would have marks all over me, they would take me.
Right.
I would usually be fucked up when the cops got there. And he would
Right.
talk his way out of it. He's a smooth talker. And I would go to jail, and then he would bond me out and hire me a lawyer and pay my fines. And then it would happen again in 6 months. I went to jail in like 5 different counties over this guy, us fighting. So, I was with this guy a total of about 17 years, and he wanted me to get off the dope. We fought about that a lot. So in 2018, my mother got sick with cancer. My mother and I were very close. Very, very close. I would talk to my mother 5, 6, 7 times a day. I was the youngest of 5, and she and I were the closest. My mother lost her battle with cancer in 2018, and I was so sick at that time that while my mother was in the hospital dying, I would be at the hospital with her, but I would be shooting dope in the bathroom. I would be copping dope in the parking lot of the hospital. I mean, it was just terrible.
Yeah.
My mother passed away in 2018, and I went to rehab again, probably my 12th time maybe going since I was about 20. And I think I had to get clean for my mama. Even though she wasn't here anymore, I had to get clean for my mama. So I'm going to say the first person that came to my mind of why I needed to get clean wasn't myself, wasn't my children. It was my mama.
Yeah.
And so the last time I went to rehab, when I got out, I did, I went to Lakeside, and I did, they have some apartments that you can stay in as long as you're sober and still working a program. And you can stay in these apartments for like 3 to 4 months, something like that. It's like aftercare, you know? So
Right.
I did the rehab. I did the 28 days, and then I moved into their apartments, and I stayed there for probably about 4 months. And then when I left there, I went back with this alcoholic. I went back to this guy, and I'd always heard that you couldn't get well in the same environment that you got sick in. And I just started going to meetings. I started surrounding myself I didn't have a lot of friends. I don't talk to a lot of people. I have one really close friend, and she was also addicted to heroin like I was. And we both got sober one day apart in 2018. I got sober on
Nice.
October 31st. She got sober on November 1st, and she is still sober. Um, um, so I stayed with this guy for like another 5.5, 6 years. And I was ODing in the apartment that we shared. He found me a couple times. Um, but after I got out of rehab and after I did that time in their apartments, when I came back, I had a different mindset. I was not going to go back. I was not going to go back. So I went to meetings. Sometimes I would do 3 a day, just whatever I felt like I needed. Um, in the very beginning, it was holding on by a thread, minute by minute, a lot of the time, because I was trying to stay clean and sober, but I was also living with all this abuse.
Right.
And um, Ben and Jess, I decided that I was going to leave, and I'd left before many times when I was still using, and I always went back. But I had decided this time, which it's been a year ago, this past April, I decided this time that I was worth more than dealing with that anymore.
Hmm.
Um,
And I remember when all this was going on, because this was just about the time I got connected with Ben and Jess and all of y'all from Memphis. And there was
right.
some posts about, you know, how Ben posts about stuff without even mentioning
Yeah.
any names and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then later I found out, you know, it was you. But I remember all this happening.
They saved my life. I felt
Yeah.
like, and I still feel like, had I not left, had I stayed much longer, he was going to kill me. He
Yeah.
threatened to kill me. He'd put a gun to my head. He would choke me. He threatened it. And I felt like, because when he's drinking, he's unpredictable when he's sober. He's a jerk when he's sober. But when he's
Right.
drinking, which is every day, he is so mean and so cruel, and would put me out of the house in the wintertime, in the middle of the night, with no car, no nothing. Just terrible. The shit this guy did. It was awful. So Ben and Jess, thank God for Ben and Jess, because at that time I didn't really even know Chris Bobbitt or Moody or a lot of these guys, and they didn't know me. They came to my house at about 7 a.m. It was on a Friday. Um, my boyfriend was supposed to have been at work, but he decided he wasn't going to go into work that day, which was odd because he works every day. He's a drunk, but he does go to work every day. He holds a job. He
Yeah.
doesn't work. He doesn't drink during the day. But so he wasn't supposed to be there when they came to get me out, and he was. And he's wanting to know, why are all these men pulling up in the front of the house, you know? And so I said, because I'm leaving. So my daughter Monica, she came, she was there. She came in the house and helped me get my stuff out. I didn't have a lot. Everything in that house was his.
Yeah.
So I got my clothes, my personal items, and the house that I was moving to. I moved in with a lady that I'd been knowing for a few years. She works at a bar. Huh. Anyway, she had just rented this little house in Bartlett, and Chris, it's literally a mile away from my ex.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it did not take him long to find me.
Yeah.
And so I went to court and I got an order of protection that they gave me for 4 months. And for those 4 months, he was a good boy. He followed the rules. He didn't bother me. He didn't come around, made no contact. Good boy. The day that we went back to court and they lifted the order because he'd not done anything to violate it, that afternoon he came by my house. And I've gone to the local precincts near my home, and I've asked them to please maybe do more patrolling in my area because I have this crazy man that won't leave me alone. Yeah. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. He stops by at random, and it's like all the PTSD just comes back.
Yeah.
Like when he pulls up and gets out of the truck, I like shut down. I don't know how else to explain it. Like all I can say to him is, please leave, please leave, please leave. Because he really fucked me up in my head. And I'm working through that. I'm seeing a psychiatrist. I'm seeing a therapist. I'm working through that.
Takes time though.
It takes time because it was 15 to 17 years worth of damage.
Right.
And he fucked me up. And I let him. I allowed it. I allowed it. But he's still drinking today, just like he was. Nothing has changed. And on Halloween this year, I have 7 years.
Come on.
So there you go. Right. God got me out of there. God got me out of there. God saved my life so many times. If I can get sober, I'm here to tell y'all, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I was out there for 30 years. And if anybody can get clean and sober, I did it. Anybody else can do it. It takes some hard work. It takes some work on our part. You know, there may be mountains in the way, but God always gives me the shovel. You know what I mean? He always gives me the tools. Everything is figure outable. I can figure it out. I may need to get some advice, but I can figure everything out today. And I say there's no way that I'll ever go back to using. Of course, I have to work on it every day. They say never say never. I mean, I know relapse happens, but I'm not going to be one. I'm not going to be somebody that has to say relapse happened to me. Not after 7 years. I got 7 years. No way. No way. No way. No how. When am I going back? No way. And God's going to see to it. God's going to see to it that I don't.
Yeah.
He just keeps making things happen for me, man. After I moved in this house I'm living in with my roommate, I had a car at the time. I'd had this car about 5 years. My car went out on me. I had no way back and forth to work. I made it work. Luckily, I live about 2 miles from my job, so there were times I had to walk. It was cold. I got rides. I took a lift. Whatever I had to do, I never missed a day. And I was without a vehicle for a good 3 or 4 months. And my Yukon that I'm driving now, I had people help me get this Yukon. Some of these people I'm paying back as a loan. Ben and Jess helped me, and I have the goodness of their heart. And I thank them. And a couple other people that I was able to get this truck. And God just keeps doing things for me, man. As long as I keep showing up for me, other people will too.
And they have. Like, you've brought me into the story where, like, and you're very vocal about it on social media, and I love that because you're giving all the glory to God, giving gratitude to where gratitude is due. So we're at the part of the story now where I've watched all this play out. I remember when you got that Yukon, and I remember when the heater went out and people came and helped you fix it.
Yes.
And I remember when the AC went out the first time and somebody came out and I've seen all this play out. Like, I've been there watching from the sidelines on this part of your story. And I love that.
Ben and Jess have fed me when I didn't have food.
Yeah.
You know, I can't say how grateful I am. I can't.
Yeah.
There's no words. I don't
Yeah.
have them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have them.
And that's okay. Like
Yeah,
sometimes that's the best gratitude, is to be like,
sure.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
Because thank you doesn't seem enough.
it's not enough. It's
Yeah.
not. And I know they know I'm grateful.
Yes.
And I know all the people that have helped me know that I'm very humble and I'm very grateful. But thank you just does not seem
Yes.
like enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that 100%. So,
Yeah.
and if you don't want to talk about this is cool, but like, where are you at in your relationship with Monica? Because I know you have a new grandbaby,
Okay.
fairly new grandbaby
Yep.
with her.
Do. Monica and I are good.
Good.
Monica and I
I love it.
we're very close. We're very close.
Good.
Um,
Good.
I see my grandbabies as often as possible, usually every week, sometime every other
Yeah.
week, depends on my work schedule and her work schedule. But
Right.
no, Monica and I'm so grateful that she has forgiven me
Yeah.
for so much.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes I don't feel worthy, you know, because I put her through a lot,
Yeah.
both my girls. But we're good now. We're good today. I'm very close to both my girls. They know they can always call me. I'm going to be right there. Whatever I got to do, I'm going to be right
Yeah.
there. And I'm there today. I'm present today. And I
Yeah.
know what's going on. And I'm not walking around in a fog. She doesn't have to worry about me ODing. She doesn't have to worry about someone hurting me.
Yeah.
And Monica, she's had her own trials and tribulation with addiction, and she's doing amazing. I could not be
That's
more
awesome.
proud. I could not be
I
more
love it.
proud. Um,
I love it.
you know, a better way, they do their event every Friday night at Sycamore View
Yeah.
in Summer behind the Dollar
Yep.
Tree, where they,
Yep.
they feed people and they do HIV testing, and they give out clean needles, and it's a needle exchange. But people also come to eat. They come to get food. They come to get hygiene products. They come to take a shower. Feel like a human
Come to get
being, right?
clothes. Yeah.
Clothes.
So the first
That's
time
right.
we ever went to Memphis, I went there, and
It's
I'd always.
amazing.
And I'm going to interrupt you for a second because I want to
Yeah.
interject what we experienced there. Is I had some reservations about that,
Right.
and
A
I
lot of
and I,
people
and I'm
do.
still kind of on the fence about
Sure.
it.
Sure.
But I saw the love they showed these people, and
Yeah.
I saw my brother-in-law brought his guitar, and he just sat in the corner of the parking lot
Yeah.
and played,
Yeah.
and and people walked up to him and started talking to him, and
Yeah.
my sister jumped in there and helped with some of the intake forms. I don't
Yeah.
remember the guy's name, but we met the guy that runs it. Um,
Hmm.
been introduced us to him. I got to watch Jess serve
Right.
food to I don't know how many people.
Right.
Um, I got to watch Mariah. They talked
Yes,
to
I
her
know
that night.
Mariah. Yeah,
Mariah. So
I do.
and y'all, I've posted about this. Mariah's posted about this. I am not breaking anonymity or anything on this, y'all. But I
Right.
watched Ben and Jess and Tiffany talk to her that night to try to get her to go to treatment. And I've got
Yeah.
pictures that I've sent to her where she looked like absolute death. This
Absolutely.
was on a Friday.
Yeah.
Monday, she went to treatment, and she
Yeah.
doesn't even look like the same person right now.
She does not. No, she doesn't.
So I've
Uh,
seen what that does for people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. What's so cool about that is that there was a time some years ago, not long after they had started doing that on Friday nights there at Sycamore View, that Monica would go up there. She and another girl, they would go up there and they would get food and they would get whatever they needed. And then my Monica got clean, and I have a picture in my phone somewhere. I'll have to find it and post it again. And she and I were both up there one night together, serving food, just bagging up garbage, whatever we could do. And I
Oh,
just
that's
thought that was
awesome.
so freaking cool. I mean, how cool is that?
And
That my
let
daughter
me
was
just
going there for services, and now she's there.
he's volunteering.
Absolutely. Oh my God, that's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And just to tell y'all like what this means to that area, that is like Sycamore View is like a terrible area of Memphis.
It is terrible.
But
It's
we would
nothing but
literally
the dope
watch
track.
nothing but the dope track. But we
And
would
then
literally watch people.
all those camps, out in the woods back
That's what
there,
I was
all
fixing to
those
say. We
folks
would
that live.
literally watch
Yeah,
people come out of the woods
yeah,
and come
yeah,
get fed
yeah,
and go through the clothes and get some
yeah,
hygiene. And
yeah.
maybe they got clean needles or they didn't, but they got a hot meal. They got somebody to
That's
talk
right.
to
Yeah.
and somebody to love on them.
There's always a chance that somebody's going to say, "Yeah, I'm ready to go tonight."
Always.
And I've seen it happen. I have seen folks put folks in their car and drive them to Nashville. I've seen it
Yeah.
happen many times. So people do go to rehab. They don't just show up for the syringes.
Right.
People actually
Right.
do get into
Yeah.
rehab and
No, for
stay
sure.
clean, and then go back and give to the community and serve
I
hot
mean,
meals.
look at Garland and Nicole. Like they're both
That
very involved with A Better Way. And
that's right.
they're doing all the stuff with them.
Yes. And a place here in Bartlett called Bartlett's Closet. It's like a clothes closet. They take up donations every week also and send out there to the folks at A Better Way. So there's a
Yeah, there
couple
was a
other
couple tables of
organizations.
clothes. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Yes.
And they're not just focused on, and this was what was so cool is, being
I know.
introduced to
Say
them.
it, Chris. Say it.
Well, I
Say
don't know
it.
if you know what I'm going to say, but like we got our very first case of Narcan from there. He
Okay.
was like, he was like, here, take the Narcan.
Yep.
You need some Narcan, take it. Y'all go get started in Texas.
Yeah.
We didn't know, like
Yes.
we were brand new, didn't know where to get it, like we know where to get it now, but for free. But
Right.
like we didn't know anything then. And he
Yep.
was like, he gave us his number and he was like, if you need something, you call.
Yep.
What did you think I
And
was going to say?
Narcan saves lives.
It saves lives.
It does. It does. I'm not going to get on my soapbox, but it saves lives. It is not an
Yeah.
enabler. It's
The only
not.
thing it enables is breathing.
It's breathing. Absolutely. And thank God for it, because I would not be sitting here talking to you today. I would have been gone 20 years ago,
Yeah.
15 years ago.
We all know her. I hadn't been able to get her on the podcast yet because she goes to school at night, and I'm not going to mention her name. I'll let her tell the story, but she's been Narcaned over 25 times.
Yeah.
And she's young. She's in her 30s.
God love her. I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about. God love her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's doing good today.
She's doing amazing. She's holding down a full-time job
I
and
know.
going
What?
to school at night.
Yeah. I mean, what? I never thought
Yes.
that I would be able to work a regular job. The
Yeah.
first regular job I ever had
Yeah.
was not long after I got sober. I worked at Hobby Lobby on Highway 64 in Bartlett, and I was there 5 years. First real job I'd ever had, and I was like 46, maybe. And now I work at Dillard's, and I've been there a little over a year. And my
Yeah.
first month there, I got Employee of the Month. Yes, I did.
Come on with it. Let's go.
And so, yeah, I just want to say that if I can do it, anybody can do it. And there is hope for tomorrow. You may feel like you want to die today, but there is hope for tomorrow, y'all. The sun's going to rise another day, and you got another chance.
Yeah.
Got another chance.
Yeah, y'all think about that for a minute. If you've got a lady sitting right here in front of you that was out there for over 30 years, Caitlin Gibbs.
My girl. My
Yeah,
girl.
yes, Hobby Lobby Crew 208. Let's go.
Hobby Lobby. That's right.
Yeah.
My girl. I
Um,
know.
I've never met her in person. We've been friends on Facebook for a couple months, like just recently
Uh-huh.
became friends. But yeah, I love her to death. She's so
I
cool.
think a lot. I think a lot of
But
Caitlin.
y'all think
I
about
think a
this
lot
for
of
a
them.
minute. Yeah, y'all think about this. You have a woman sitting in front of you that has been on every kind of drug, from opiates to uppers to everything in between, dancing in clubs, for over 30 years. And now she's been clean for coming up on 7. In a couple months, it'll be 7 years.
Yeah,
So if you think it is impossible, you are
it's not.
absolutely wrong. A 30-year addiction, like my addiction, my drug addiction was only 3.5, 4 years before I went to prison. And prison saved my life for real on that one.
I believe you.
But
Hmm.
a 30-year addiction, like that is nothing but God.
That's nothing but God. And through all that time, I should have. You would think that I would have had like a stack of charges, dope charges, this and that. Not a one.
Yeah.
Only that's the only drug charge that I've ever had. Ever. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Because I know people that haven't been out there 2 years and got charge on charge on charge on stacked on charges. And God was
Yeah.
watching out for me. I did not have to go through incarceration. Like, I mean, I would go to jail, but I would be out in a
Right.
couple days. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just a wonder, and by the grace of God, that I didn't have a lot of charges to have to deal with on top of everything else.
And the fact you got out right before fentanyl hit Memphis so hard.
And see, let me say this. My last, say, 6 years that I was using, that's all I was using was fentanyl. I
Really?
wasn't using hair. Oh, yes. I was using fentanyl. That's all I was using. I was not using heroin. You couldn't even hardly find it anymore. Everything was fentanyl. And the crazy
Yeah.
thing, and I know you've heard people say this before, this is absolute insanity. But if I OD'd on some fentanyl, or if I knew people that were ODing on some fentanyl, I wanted to know where they got it. I wanted some of that shit. That's got to be good shit. I want that. Where are you getting it?
Wow.
Who you getting it from? Yeah, that's crazy, ain't it?
It is
That's
crazy.
crazy. But that was my thinking. And no,
Yeah.
my last 6 or 7 years using, that's what I was
Wow.
using was fentanyl. Yeah. Yeah. That's
That's
all I was
crazy because
using.
I'm trying to think
I
back
was
on the
doing
timeline of
fentanyl
Ben
and
and
smoking
Jess.
crack.
Yeah. Ben and
Yeah.
Jess were still using heroin. They never used fentanyl. But like now, you can't even find heroin in Memphis
You
anywhere.
can't. When I first started doing it back like early 90s, I was doing the black tar. That's all you could find. Just about
Yeah.
the only people you could get it from was Mexican. And
Mhm.
I even had a girlfriend that left Tennessee and went to Mexico with these guys. She
Wow.
almost lost her life down there. They would keep her doped up and have her selling dope at the clinics in the parking lot. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a wonder I didn't get in all that mess, because she and I
Yeah.
were very close. And then she just up and disappeared and came back like 2 years later. And I found out she'd been in Mexico and basically fighting to get out of that shit.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like probably 10 years ago is when the fentanyl really started coming around, and I was still doing the heroin. But then once I got my first taste of fentanyl, that was it. That's what I wanted. That's all I'd buy. And now it's to the point where you just can't even hardly find heroin anymore. When I got clean, you couldn't find it. You couldn't find it. All you could find was fentanyl.
I'm not
Just
going to
straight
mention his
fentanyl.
name either, but you know who he is. He's associated with Ben and Jess. He's an OG for one of the
Yes.
Memphis gangs.
Yep.
He said the same thing. He said there's one place in South Memphis where I know that somebody's still selling it. Everybody else,
Right.
it's straight
Yep.
fentanyl.
It is straight fentanyl. Yes, it is. Yep.
That's
That's
crazy
what
to
I was
me.
doing. Yep. You can't find heroin. You can't find. I mean, when I got clean, you couldn't find it.
Yeah.
And then once I got my first taste of fentanyl, well, shit, I didn't want the heroin anymore
Yeah.
because the fentanyl was a way better down.
Really?
Why I OD'd so many
Well, I
times.
guess so. Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, I would think, I would think I can do as much fentanyl as I was doing on the heroin, and
You
you
can't.
can't. You can't. No,
But isn't
you
that the
can't.
thing
You
with an
can't do the
addict
same
is like
amount.
if
Oh yeah.
if one
Oh
is
yeah.
good, two is better.
That's
And
right.
if
Absolutely.
two
You
is
said it
better,
right
what is
there.
three gonna do?
That's right. That's right. And my addict brain, well, of course, I would have to find out. I want to know.
Yeah.
And I would do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
That's crazy. But God, man,
It
I
is
hear stories
crazy.
like this, you just can't help but see
But
God all
God,
over it.
no, all over it. He's been all over my life since I was a child.
Yeah.
I never ever lost my relationship or my contact with God.
Yeah.
Never. Not since I was a child.
Yeah.
He's always been there for me, and he has saved me. And I know it's him. There's no doubt in my mind, because I shouldn't be sitting here today, much less sitting here sober,
Right.
holding a job with my own ride away from my abuser,
Right.
beautiful relationship with my kids.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody would have ever predicted any of this for me.
Yeah.
My whole family couldn't believe I was still alive at 30.
Yeah.
They just, everybody that knew me back when I was using would say to you, she's not going to make it much longer. She is pitiful. She's not going to make it much longer. So, no, God has bigger plans for me
Every time.
every time.
And
I think I fulfill them every day.
no, I agree. And that's one of the things I love about God is
I
like
think so.
when we're stuck like that, he never gives up.
Never gives up, because everybody else gave up on me pretty much.
Yeah.
I was a lost cause. Everybody was just waiting to get that call that, we didn't get to her in time,
Right.
and she's gone.
Right.
And should have happened, but it didn't. And I'm still here
And
today.
I'm glad. That's just absolutely amazing.
I'm grateful to my God. I'm grateful to so many people in my life. I'm grateful for my girls, because I put them through so much. The fact that they even want to have a relationship with me today is amazing. But the fact that we are so close, me, Monica, and Shelby are all so very close. And I couldn't be more happy.
One of my favorite verses in the Bible of all time is in Joel. I think it's 2:28. And I don't remember the whole verse, but the first part of it says, he will restore unto you the years the locusts have eaten. And I've
Yes.
seen that time and time again, talking to people on this podcast
Yeah.
and even in my own life, but the years that the enemy, the locusts have eaten and taken away, God is going to restore that. He's going to restore your relationships with your family. He's going to restore your sanity. He's going to restore your wholeness. He's going to heal you. It may take some time, but he's going to restore it.
I totally believe it.
I love that verse. Like, I absolutely love that verse because I've seen it in action. Like I said, in my own life, and time again, talking to people on this show.
He will never forsake us.
Never.
Never. He doesn't always do things on my time.
Yeah.
But he's never forsaked me ever.
Yeah.
And it's just a miracle
Me either.
that It's just a miracle that I'm sitting here today talking to you.
Yeah, for sure.
It is. And if I can
And
do
it
it,
makes you,
anybody can.
anybody can do it. Like if you think you're so far gone that there's no way out, like
Uh,
like I said earlier, you're talking to a 30-year plus addict. Like nobody's ever too far gone.
Nobody's ever too far gone. It just takes that one step. You just got to take that first step. And as
Yep.
long as you're doing right by God, and as long as you're showing up for yourself, everything else will fall into place. As long as you don't
Yep.
pick up. As long as you
Yep.
don't pick up.
Yep.
Because I
For
think
sure.
when those of us in recovery do relapse, it gets so bad so quick, you know,
Oh my
where
gosh.
like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like within, like, I know if I were to start using, like, I think I said it last week, it wouldn't take a week or two and I'd probably be on Sycamore View living in the woods. You know, it
Yeah.
gets that bad that quick when you do
Yeah.
relapse.
I believe
So,
it. I had never
yeah.
relapsed on drugs. Like, I've relapsed on alcohol and it
Mm-hmm.
got pretty bad pretty quick. But I know for
Mm-hmm.
a fact
It
if I went
will.
out there today and bought $25 worth of meth,
Yep.
by
It'd be
Friday,
off to
I'd
the
be buying an
races.
8 ball at a time. Yep.
Yep. Absolutely. It'd be off to the races. Yep.
Because I'd be like, oh, I remember this. You
Uh-huh.
know, like,
Uh-huh.
like I remember this.
Absolutely.
I love it. Sheila, thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Lost an earbud.
You've helped me a lot letting me do this. I appreciate you.
Well, good. I love it. And I love because telling your story is cathartic. It's cleansing. It's
It
it's
is.
releasing, especially if you've never told it before in a public setting. Like, I don't have a huge following. I mean, I have a pretty decent amount of followers, but like, only 10 or 20 people show up and watch this thing at any given time. But you've still done it. Like you've done the damn thing, you know? And that's huge to actually do that. Like it's one thing to sit you and I one-on-one and you tell me your story, but to do it on social media or in a public setting, it's just, there's something about it that releases you. And now it's like all of a sudden, you can do it again.
Yep.
To help other people,
Absolutely. Yep. I can because I did it this time.
You did it this time.
Yep.
And we did it
We did.
in an hour and a half ish, 45 minutes last time. And we're at 49 right now. So that's a lot.
That's a lot. I told you I had a lot to say. I told you I had a lot to say.
And that takes guts because like we've only ever been social media friends.
Yeah.
Like we'd never, we've interacted on posts, but we'd never talked face to face or, whatever, virtually face to face.
Right.
All the times I've been to Memphis, you're like one of the very few people I hadn't met in person yet.
I know. We got to change that.
We got to change that for sure.
Yeah.
And for somebody to reach out and say, hey, I'd love to be on your podcast and tell my story, that takes guts.
Thanks, Chris.
I was virtually a stranger to you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
kind of, sort of, but not really,
Right. Yeah. You're my brother now, though. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, thank you again. Next week, I have my brother, and he's actually local to me. He lives here, and I know him. We work at the same company. Hey, Joshua Lee, good to see you, man. Thanks for dropping in. Tim Cotton's going to be on next week. So Tim and I have worked together for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. Tim got really bad out on meth. And I think I said this last week, like he was always open about it. Like he just told people, when they, bro, why have you lost so much weight? Well, I'm doing this. But like I'd make it a point to go back to the back. He worked in the warehouse. I worked in the office. I'd make it a point to go to the back and talk to him. We've always had multiple buildings across town at the company I work for. So if I had to go to, when he got moved to another building, if I went over there, I made it a point to go to the back and talk to him, just check on him and see how he was doing. And so I watched him fall into addiction and then come out of addiction.
Right.
And it was a beautiful thing to watch.
Yes.
And now he is doing absolutely amazing. I couldn't be more proud of this dude, for real. He's my brother, like really my brother. He's sick right now with COVID, but we texted today, and I'm beyond ecstatic to have him on the show and let him tell his story, because I was there. Wait. Like I actually got to watch the fall and the rise of this one. So it's gonna be something different for me.
I can't wait to watch.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. Sheila, thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris. You're welcome. Love you, bro.
Love you too so much. Thank you everybody for showing up and supporting in the comments. Couldn't do it without you. Wouldn't want to do it without you. That's why I do it live and not pre-recorded, is because I love the comments. I love people being able to show up and watch live and be able to comment, and I get to read it in real time. So thank y'all for that. And we will see y'all next week, same time, 7 o'clock on Monday.